Perfect design. Armor up from within, you guys. Wizard armor up. Talking about the environment today. This global crisis, and our politicians are acting. They are pretending to be that way. Hatch, the revolutionary. Rum. Transform America, transform the world. But sorry, I just transcendent meow. How the hell do I change this world? How do you break this thing? It's a communication. It has to be some sort of inland. It's like, oh, for example, like when I have my studio and I'm telling stories, I could actually use the story of the Atlantis ruins to bring around a social revolution. I just need the studio and the editing equipment. We could have a social revolution. People could really wake up. Ugh. But yeah, I've been, I'm really interested in Greta Thunberg, and I, I'm interested in what she's saying about the world today. She's right about so many things. Her movement with the Zen sign and all, these kids on the protesting, there's people in the streets with the signs. It's really good Zen energy. It's actually speaking to the point, and it proves that humanity is not broken. It's a type of double Zen. It's like a, it's like unavoidable power. Like Greta is super powerful, and she's seeing something real. Recently, she's been accusing politicians of being an actor. So I was thinking about it, and so Wizard armor up, you guys. Let's have like a conversation where we can make some progress. But I came up with a story that I'd like to produce through the 55 Putney studio. Um, okay, so I know you guys can imagine a lot, so I'm going to try to channel the wolf. It actually took me many years to become accepted by the wolf spirit. Uh, for me to work with him, there was a lot of trust. I remember back when this picture was taken, it was actually a time of epiphany because it took, I was building the wolf mask with the lights in the eyes for a while. And as I was building it, I also made like this robot that actually was able to see things using eyes, light that comes out of the eyes. Like a new level of how light, like what's the speed of light? How do you calculate the universe? Then how do you change society? So, you know, these things apply to the progress of, what we're trying to build in any position. We're all a family of this year. So I have an interesting story to tell. Um, but when this picture was taken, it was at a time when I was working with the video game characters Cole True, and the wolf was sort of the spiritual guardian or guide in the mind. And through like like a collision, a kaleidoscope, like a stained glass window, an animation of of thousands of memories together over years of work results in the confidence, a true confidence, like a true confidence that is an osmosis. And it's interesting because it's a very admirable trait to be immersed or at least spirited, but um, Definitely, it's in the realms of creative expression. So we're talking about free speech and stuff, but the levels of intensity that I think are needed to understand Earth and the climate crisis and how do we change society 2021, how do we fight back, like the real weaponry to get there is some really advanced metaphysics, some really intelligent people working together to produce Hatch. So I'm here to talk about that in the light of I've just been listening to the riot of Greta on Twitter, and she was at a summit in Australia, and she was just saying politicians are acting, and I was just like, oh my fucking, I was like, oh my god, that's completely right, uh, because they're not doing world leadership shit. The world is in a crisis, and what they're doing is not performing leadership. There's a missing, there's a huge, when there's a huge global problem. So I have like a suggestion. So the wolf had this idea about sort of imagine the wolf is towering on the sides of planets and sort of jostling between the planets, and he's sort of sensing the universe and smelling the air, like he can smell blood or something, right? He's like I know something's wrong, and he zones in on the Earth for the environmental crisis, the spirit of the wild, representing in the wolf, the fury and the anger, the trash on the ocean shore, the abuse to the animals, the children are being choked. You should actually be littering food pellets to the animals. Like, you should feed your animals. Oh no, those are wild animals. They like to eat each other. They enjoy that. I can tell you with confidence that they don't enjoy that aspect of it. They will scavenge as much as they can before they kill something. Like this fantasy about killing for pleasure, and that money has like a one, this is how money should work in the government system. You know, we've actually, there is like a conspiracy theory here. Oh, well, whoa, so this is not a conspiracy theory, but I mean, sorry, the wording is a little bit out. So there was this one article. I'm like a sharpshooter, right? So I'm good at seeing like, oh, that is important. So I clipped this, and the material here, it's only been spoken of once, and I've never seen an article about it again. And it's a new type of solar uh, absorption that is like it's completely revolutionary to the solar panel industry. And there's a spooky amount of the way that the scientists in this interview described it. There were actually some shady energy people that but like animal instinct. So on the face of the scientist, as he was like looked scared in his face. He's like, what, because of the people who are interested in this material. Well, and then like out of place laughter, and like telltale signs. And he's like, oh, this is going to be real big. Well, no kidding, you fucking loser. It's a revolution to energy. You could change the world if you free produce. You should be sending pieces of this material to every communication person. Whoosh! Like thing has already been buried, and like you guys are, but I'm just saying. Okay, so it's absolutely upsetting because if this material was budgeted by the governments, all of a sudden we could have an energy conversion to be proud of. Uh, so the wolf had this idea, and he's like, there's these things. There's so much story to tell here. Wiseacres. Oh my God, like there's just so much to talk about here, right? All right. If you go up to a politician and you're like, you guys look like actors, it's ridiculous. They look at you with this, they have like a polished, they're like, ha ha ha, yes, thank you for your pageantry. Like, you don't know what it, but we're like we're actually looking at it, and we can fucking tell you're an actor. You know, the politicians, it's fine. They're not performing leadership. It doesn't. They don't look right. There's weird things happening, and the pandemic is trying. Things are falling down. Like, oh, that's cringe. Like because you know, and people just want to go back to the way of life. Even with the delta rising, people are like, you know, we got to keep the economy going, even if there's this toxic thing there. And I understand the heart of that. That's our people. They're like they're soldiers, you know, which does it does it's relevant, you guys. The Breathe the Mask XR. If we do get like a rise of Delta in some city, and they're like, well, we want to keep using the subway, we want to keep things going, you guys. You know, well, for heaven's sake, let's make this available. All right, that's manufacture, that's perfection of it. We would literally save lives. You know, I understand the curvature. People don't want to shut down. They don't want to go back into quarantine. So let's armor up our soldiers and make these breathing masks. All right. So, oh, and this is part of a different conversation tree. Here we go. So yeah, guys, like I'm here to tell you about the story of the wolf. And he has this story he wants to tell about. Man, it's like a rear differential of it's uh hypnosis, uh gang mentality. So being a lone wolf, I'm representing myself, and I'm saying the universe is going to survive. All the evils are going to perish. The good have won. You know, the sanction is wrought. We plant the seed of perfect design. Between us, the wizard's circle. Everyone's being respected here, and we're all getting into the permanent gains. We are the relevant shift in the societal relationship. We are, you know, we have to enforce the garden. You know, it's enlightenment to understand when you wake up, oh, let's optimize the day. You know, it's a little, people will call it OCD, but it's actually, it gets you into a dimensional place where you can be effective, or you might make some progress in your soul, or you might have a successful conversation. You know, for heaven, you know, let's have some inspiration. You know, let's produce Hatch. So this letter is for Trey Parker and his friends, a circle of producers. I'm asking you guys to put on your thinking hats now and go serious about. Uh, I want to say it. I hope that you can feel the energy. That 55 Putney Road is the best location, and this is the best pitch. We're ready to work with Hatch now, is what I'm saying. Well, we understand Hatch needs a bigger building, but he's better off building his own custom mansion, which he can afford if the society follows uh, his incline. He's talking about a revolution, and it can start from this little house. And it's the perfect sort of like menu. Like there's these little rooms you can with your tablet, your phone, or online. Yeah, and in virtual reality, you could like explore. It's just like a fancy menu, and then there's some films you can watch, and you're like in a theater. So, and then we get to a point where we can sell things, and we have some nice stuff, and then hopefully I can get into Pokey Puppy cartoons. But I want it to be a real social thing, so it's like I've actually fallen in love with someone at that point. You know, I don't want to do something where I don't want to just hire someone. I think I need to like really meet someone. So Trey, as my producer, I'm asking you to have that patience for me so we can follow that authenticity. Uh, you know, so there's a story here, but it's very advanced language. This is like English beyond the curvature. So I want you guys to challenge yourself and try to understand what the wolf is saying. So there's this expansion pack beyond the 10 ratio. There's a blind side on the 100 expansion, like there's a psychic blind side. But the men need to adapt and fulfill that vow, and the women are saying the men aren't doing their full leadership. They're not mastering the seed design technology society mastery of the element. Okay, you're using the wrong energy types. We should be focusing on a sequencing of hydroelectric dams. We are water spirits, 80% water. A couple power rivers in each country would electric uh, supply the entire nations there. Just common sense is lacking. It's like when people make hydroelectric on a river, they make one sequence of damming procedure, huge cement built, structure, and they're like, that's it. That is what that it's done. And they're like, that's hydroelectric. It's done. I'm like, well, wait. Like if you make a little pool reserve, like a little bit down the way, you make another dam. You're talking about doubling your power. No, no, it's done. Just one thing. That's hydroelectric. Like it's a retarded image, right? So in throughout, uh, but what Hatch is producing is not retarded images. These are images that are prepared to springtrap, open up, and cause like a spawn location in the void of existence, manifold, the ghost of the earth running through the universe tabletry, awakening all, All right, but when you look at humanity, wow, all right, oh wait, true confidence, wait, oh here it is, yeah, wow, wow. So what I see in humanity is like an uncolored coloring book. It's like, oh well, we did part of the work, sir. We have like one hydroelectric dam sequence. Yeah, if you like do the scales of a dragon, if you with every sequence of multiplying that hydroelectric dam, well, that would be expensive. Well, if hold on a second, if you do every time you put a sequence of the hydroelectric, you're multiplying, doubling the amount of power from that river. So when you have one sequence of hydroelectric, you don't dare tell me that that's the end. This is how much hydroelectric can supply. This is what hydroelectric equates to. This is how high it stands. Electroclack, and it's retarded. There's one dam there. You guys are it's an uncolored coloring page, and these kids swearing burning oil. So I'm just saying, it's like you look around. There's a bunch of uh we need to do better with our leadership. And as these things are resulting during a pandemic, we found this miracle solar panel is getting buried. And all right, you guys, we have a lot to protect here. Merry Christmas. This is important. We're the battle bruisers who can change this thing. We produce Hatch, open up this communications studio. And Hatch is a prolific studio artist. Even when Hatch is working with some painting, I think we'll do some motion capture there. And Hatch is talking about the method of painting, and perhaps we're seeing a painting. And Hatch is just doing this experimental, but then his friends edit it up, put it together, even put the CGI character, and they show it to Trey, and they're like, Trey, do you think this is, And Trey's like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. It was a really great. Could we put some music on it? I'm like, oh great. So we'll do that again. So there's a lot of things we could do in a motion capture studio, and I want it to be this natural incline, and so that people can fall in love with the Hatch character, and then Hatch falls in love, and there's this, and the wife presence. Oh my gosh, so it's gonna be that's how we power a revolution, you guys. So what's perverse? So Hatch opening an adult studio is not what's perverted. Okay, this is perverted. Also, how the CDC is like the CDC is a zombie. They say crazy shit, right? So to transcend this, let's try to protect our energy. We're guiding the incline, the intelligence of our media and communication and the intelligence. That's the enlightenment of mankind. So Hatch does this advanced imagery that contains at least the osmosis or the intelligence of let's or planting the seeds of the fruit bearing orchard. Yeah, fruit bearing trees and planning ahead. All right, all right. This is pretty intense. Hold on a second. All right, the story of the wolf. So it's about linguistics. It's about when the vocabulary switches. When is it that the politicians are actually abusing power, okay, and are acting like a zombie out of their fucking body, acting like we're keeping it together by smiling and waving. And it's like scary the amount of money that they're talking about is, and then they're just flashing it around. Oh, we have a solution for the budget crisis. Great. Okay. I know everyone's doing the best they can. But I am also seeing it like it's almost like the images are also they contain like madness in it. But when we look at images at Hatch is a professional image, and there's intrigue, there's balance, we have a story here, there's depth. This is leadership, and we produce Hatch. We're doing a good thing for the world. And Hatch contains this adult suggestions that you guys this contains to further thing, but let's get practical. We produced the Breathe the Mask as XR. We're literally saving lives pound for pound. That's gonna be good for our spine. It's gonna be good for our image. Let's get to work and open this 55 Putney Road as soon as possible. And the first project I'll be working on is Breathe the Mask XR. I'm really excited to announce that I'm not even sure how my character Hatch. I'm not sure how I'm going to appear at this time, or like in the house. I'm not sure what I look like. So that's really interesting to me. It'll happen when I'm developing the characters. All right, now for the story of the wolf. So essentially, the abuse of the power and the size, the perspective of multiple planets, the wolf is jettisoning, and you know how the wolf will bob and weave his head like this to gain perspective on prey. So when the wolf is jumping between planets, he's sort of measuring things, and we could animate that. So he jumps onto Venus, and he actually does the bob head and weave thing, and he's got like some of their psychic thought, and the sun does like a solar flare. It's like like has some sort of aching sound, and the wolf is like sort of just looking at things. And this sort of like interacting like like creatures in the wild. So it's a layered thing. And but we can tell is that the wolf is gathering like an idea here. Okay, so I'm just gonna get to the point because the wolf wants to sink his teeth into this prey, right? What I want to do is explain that technically the worst criminal hurting children, the worst terrorist in the world is the polluting fuel, the oil industry. And if you could become the appropriate law set, you would cause that. All right, so imagine that. So the wolf is going to become like a maybe uh, an image over the entire America. So America's there, and the wolf is standing there, and he's talking with his psychic power. It's hard to explain how to deliver it because it's more like the wolf should actually be the president. So let's imagine that. So there's a story where the wolf becomes the president of America, or so he's gaining perspective, and then he somehow just goes whoop whoop whoop, and then you see him like walking through the halls. So we should have just a movie like, oh, there's a wolf as American president, and this American president, he says the greatest criminal facing our world is this environmental crisis, and so I'm making illegal the criminal that threatens my child and my home and my breath and my day. And so as the wolf, I would perform this thing where I get really angry. I'm angry about what threatens our home and our children, and that's the environmental crisis. And I'm making illegal those. And so what happens then is that President Wolf, he literally mobilizes the army. Okay, so and the army goes SWATs and they seize all the money, and they make billions, they make trillions of dollars. Our government is seizing trillions of dollars from these corrupt energies. And there's like, there's some creepy old people at the end of these energy towers being like, I'm just, some old person. They just mow them down because they've been made into like kill on sight criminal because they've killed sort of a life force, or they represent the death of like millions of people, these polluters. So so we see the military actually performing self-defense for the planet's sake, and the earth is like, wow, you guys are gonna actually help me breathe over here, put a breathing mask on that. All right, it's all connected, you guys. Oops. All right, it's a good even flow, you guys. Please help me out. It's some advanced stuff about the day, how we can transform it. Greta is this environmentalist, and I'm working to become the revolutionary. We got to change the world as a family group, you guys. We're and so producing Hatch is fun because it's like, okay, now we have this king of America, and he's going to be fighting and doing all this stuff. Hey, let's represent America and do this stuff. Okay, you guys, I'm like out of my body in three different dimensions. I'm so excited about this production. It's great. All right, uh, so the wolf is okay. So let's say there's an illustration where the wolf is president. Literally, this wolf president, he solves the environmental crisis. And also I have some environmental ideas about salt, and he's like, pump this ozone straight up, and he starts barking it, and then like we see like, like summer of 2024. It's like a couple years in the future, and things already look drastically better, right? And people are patiently converting their cars to electric or biodiesel. Biodiesel's great. It's supporting the farmers. All right, so and I mean, that's the kind of story arc. I have a few other vignettes, like images that I want to just expand. Just like the wolf literally sinks his teeth into the neck of corrupted energy, savage things like where so we what we do is we criminalize that which is criminal, and then we seize and possess their property and ownings. So suddenly the U.S. Government suddenly owns the entire oil industry and all of its reserves, all of its equipment, because we declared war. We declared war. America declared war against the energy syndicate, and they took all of their money, trillions of dollars, and this caused a huge rift, but it settled down very quickly because the America had the highest paid U.S. Military in the world, and they brought peace to the Earth, and then the Earth could breathe again because they produced Hatch and they made the studio, and we heard this story, and we got the breathing mask developed. Okay, we are the angels that make this happen. We are Earth. We make this happen. All right. Produce Hatch immediately, Trey. All right. The wear map. Okay. Um, Activate the next level of yourself. Armor up. All right. So a couple other images here. Yeah, that's the idea. Is that the wolf, he gets perspective on the planets. He becomes president. He declares war against the energy industry and claims and seizes all of their stuff as like the spoils of war. And that solves the economic crisis of America, and it brings the dollar through the roof. So this is how, and it capsates probably all the like Bitcoin and shit. Like it puts it to shame. I've got an idea also about rebuilding the U.S. dollar. I want to talk about that, and that could be oh yeah. We could do a whole story about President Wolf, but he also is really interested in cooking and and giving people, you can order his foods inventions online. Share a meal with the wolf. It's real good. Oh my God, you guys, it was so much party, so much fun to be hanging out with you guys. I'm really excited to work with you. Right, and so a few other ideas. I mean, that's kind of the idea. I didn't want to abandon this, but um, the idea of like, okay, an image of America, a hologram of the wolf, and he's trying to explain like bully systems. He's just like, yeah, these politicians aren't performing leadership that is needed, and this energy system, they're going against the actual math and science that indicates the pollution is killing the world. And they're like, well, these pollution amounts, we have like, we're allowed to pollute a certain amount. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not allowed to do that. So when does the language switch and we have like a bully turn? Exactly. Like it's like inverted because that's abuse of power, but it's almost like let's show the correct usage of power. It's like President Wolf over here. So I like this idea about trying to snap that into perspective and maybe it's like planetary, and then like Earth giant, and then wolf president. I'm not sure. I'm working with these images. Um, but the point is that the smartest thing is to declare war against the energy fat cats, kill them with our army, with our military, because of previous crimes, because of blood on their hands, because of what they've already done to the world, because they're already a notorious murderer of the life force of our planet, which basically brings everyone down. It increases crime rate, it increases poverty, it increases the anxiety, and then the nature is upset, and there's um, choking on garbage. Like, why are people just throwing their garbage in the ocean? This is really crazy. People are like 20% lunatic. So we need to produce images that have powerful leadership, and that's Hatchpan Heliosphere, guys. All right, we're excited about that. Okay, so let's produce an American hero. We are the accelerated learning curve. I'm excited, you guys. Let's protect. Merry Christmas. We have something to build on here. We can survive. We need to be more aggressive and pinpoint the nerve, turn on that down, and make a vignette. We need to prove the point with a real communication. I'm learning from Greta, and I'm learning from Trey Parker, like what you guys are dealing with in the environment when you're talking with people, and how it feels to be alive. Like, I learn from you guys. Like, all right, so I'm trying to be my best self, and I want you guys to be your best self, or whatever. Um, all right. So it's not exactly that I want to be explosively, illustratively amazing, like a totally cartoon. It's like cartoonish amounts of power. But what if it was a president who was actually doing things that should happen, like declaring war against uh, oh, uh, human trafficking? Like literally, like, okay, whoa, I don't know where it's happening, bro, but I read online that there's programs where people are trying to raise awareness that we're not declaring war against places that are known to be doing illegal underage human trafficking. And it's just like, why don't we use our military? And we're just like, oh, hi, like we call up that country like Indonesia or something. And we just go like, oh, we're just gonna go and clean up some of the downtown chaff because one of our, like, we see some of our criminals hiding there. They're like, okay, well, it just downtown, in the downtown chaff area. Yeah, go fuck it up. Like, you want to go clean up the street a little? But they go in there and they fucking murder all of the pimps that work in there. Okay, that's U.S. military. We just open fire with no prisoners, and just end those loops of chronic. Talk about muscle memory. Those are people who are criminals who are going to continue being criminals unless you stop them, because they are habitual. Uh, and their country allows it. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't declare war on that. It's always just something like, well, as long as you're not going to be like developing nuclear bombs, I guess it's okay that you're, doing torture against the eyes of children, and you're doing torture to the eyes of cows. There's like mutilation, you guys. Your meat industry is out of control. So there's some things, those are garden issues. So why don't it's very manly, it's fatherly to think like, let's just have. Oh, is that embarrassing? Okay, we'll just do it. And the military, U.S. military, absolutely. That if I was president, that would be one of the first things that I'd do. There's also a bunch of power locations like the Arm of Cape Cod I would turn that into a military base to harness the actual natural energies of America and the PowerPoints and rock this ship. We're in control of our garden. This is a very powerful position. We have to own our residency, protect our women and children. It's very parental, fatherly to lead the country, be a man, do what's right. There's a common sense there, and it's good. It's like hitting a perfect hole in one when you hit that golf tee and you're golfing and whoosh, and you hear it right through your body, and the golf ball goes right into the hole in one, and you can hear it. Hole in one, holy moly, nice shot. Feels good. It shoots right through your body like a bolt of lightning. And we have to bridle and harness all and master all of these things, different arts. Oh, also be careful around broken glass because it's sharp. Also, like don't like throw yourself off a cliff. Okay, so we're raising some children here. There's going to be some like rules. Yeah, we have to have rules. So like leadership. And then when you're looking at the picture of the world, you're like, no, these politicians are acting because what real leadership is looks like is what Hatch has just described. And this we could make a whole channel or a cartoon about the wolf being president, and that might be even better than Hatch actually running for president, which he did in 2020. But I couldn't find the production value. It wasn't, and I was trying to read the room, and um, but it's an excellent. I learned a lot, you guys, and I'm really excited to get produced and go in a powerful direction. Like there's a different way. I felt like there's a different way for the wolf to describe the distortion. When does it become? Oh, that's a different department of energy. Like if you're talking about something that's polluting our world, you're encroaching on our children's breathing space in the future. It's fucked. And by the way, Canada just burst into flames, so that's never happened before. Hello, we are riding the edge of this uh, apocalypse, you guys. We need to be the champions of mankind. Produce Hatch immediately. He needs the podium, you guys. He needs a soapbox. This needs to happen. And I am looking forward to having the resources and a type of studio. When we get a bit larger, we have multiple studios and Japanese capsule hotel bedroom. Yeah, we got a stacks here. Like 40 people could be in our studio. I'm looking forward to having these revolutionaries, this Greta and her friends, these environmentalists. I'm looking forward to having them over to the studio and be making a show and making a big deal about what they're doing and what they're saying. And we're gonna animate that. All right, so there's a lot to look forward to, you guys, and I think it might become normal for people if Hatch falls in love and I have an adult department, uh, that might become normal for people. They're like, oh, that's just the adult area. You have to pay. It's like a $10 thing. Yeah, but over here, that look what we're talking about the environment too. This is a normal household family thing. But and I don't know if I'll do. I I hope that I do get into the adult Pokey Puppy cartoons. I think it's really smart. Okay, I think it's really we could really turn the world. Uh, and people can make friends there. Okay, so but there's a different like I think a wolf needs to describe where are those boundaries, those territories where it inverts. Now, no, that's bullying, and the energy system is terrorist to the world, literally killing, and they're not paying. Why won't they pay for the cleanup of the trash island? That needs to. I know that there's efforts towards it, but there's not enough effort for it. There's a numbskullery here the size of Armageddon. If we can outsmart the beast and understand what society is saying, then we can produce Hatch and lead with that head. Make note of it, gentlemen. Write it down and highlight it, circle it. What I liked, Hatch, was that you were talking about revolutionary and that you were going to get this trash picked up. Underline it, too. And then after a couple months after Hatch is all and he's in the house and he's like, "Oh, you guys, I'm working on this." You give me a business call and you say, "Hey, you said you were gonna pick up that garbage. A show about picking up garbage. You call me on it, we'll do it. I'll make it happen, you guys. What do you guys see? What do you guys want to make happen? Let's make it happen. I'll work with you, Trey Parker. I need you to be my financial backer." And it's magical and cartoony that you would understand. Let's get this house. He wants that house. It's at the end of the dead end road. It's a road access to the rest of the acreage there. But that's a whole operation. We need to spring trap that and talk about Breathe the Mask XR. So it's a whole Breathe the Mask XR extravaganza company startup, and then with some other factory amenities that Leverett will like there's a motion capture studio over there. There's some stuff, but I don't have to even tell them what I'm going to be building. It's not like we're going to be polluting, but I'm hoping I'm going to be getting into some stuff like robots and AI. That's not really why. Anyway, I'm just saying like it'll be like a downtown area, and I'm going to give them all this stuff, you know, and literally Leverett looks like this. Like you go down my 55 Putney Road. There's like a little church there, and it's on the pond. Literally, we're talking about nature fighting back, you guys. It's true confidence. We yeah, absolutely, you guys. I'm going to be a whole new gentleman when I'm in 55 Putney Road. You guys produce me this. We're gonna have a champion, nonstop fighter, warrior, lucid action, powerful linguistics expert, top of my game, you guys. It's gonna be very powerful. We need to blitz this thing and get into it. I've just been talking about helmets. Armor up, you guys. Put on your unicorn horn. Yep. Put on your thinking cap. Awesome. It's elemental. Absolutely. We are like armored angels. But the human condition kind of makes it feel a little bit weird. And I was going to perform a little bit for you, but I really enjoyed talking with you today. I'm going to wrap it up. So of course, here's the area. I want to get this house back here, but then just all over here, and then all up here. And I'm going to be talking. I was thinking maybe I'll have a series where I become mayor of Leverett, become mayor of Leverett, and we just change the zoning, and I just start building, and we'll go along the pace of how if people are excited, I'll keep on building like a super city here. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's awesomeness, and okay, let me just say thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas. Really appreciate you guys. America can do attitude, finance, comprehension, and confidence. And that's the story of the wolf. Full on declaration of war against energy systems and like corrupt shit in the world that's driving everyone insane. It drives down the quality of life for us. Meanwhile, there's a literal environmental crisis like bad weather, and that's not coming from social crime. Okay, so the Earth is like a giant computer, and the computer's talking to us about quake wave, future Armageddon. We need to get busy on our society and explain our residency and be resilient against various space fever theorems. Uh, we have to transcend, you guys. We have to be the leaders here, and producing Hatch is the right step in the this direction. And while Hatch is a type of incarnation which is naturally born leader, there's this causes a trend and all with the full regard humanity will arise, awaken the true power of man and woman and animal and tree and rock and sunshine and moon and water and the wolf. And the wolf snatch and fire out the treasure Ganon. Oh, treasure planet. All of a sudden, the treasure. We fucking win. Fucking won it. The nature won, you guys. We're gonna exist. And so no more of this government, you know, SPD like slow farting out the information of UFO information. Oh, just slowly releasing. Oh, such a relief to those government heads to be releasing UFO information. This is what needs to happen, gentlemen. We voted. We voted on this. The people have not voted on that issue. You are making a parliamental, directional, guided, expression of leadership by your pageantry, your acting. But you don't understand. In the Congo River, there is an alien underground hiding computer people with aliens. I don't. It doesn't matter, guys. It's not the surface. It's not the resonant bubble. Those who share the breadth of the world. We are the surface tension of the world. We are the dimension of residency physics. Is if the humanity in the junk DNA is used to expunge this event, then they would need to fit the category of residencies, global coverage, which is what we describe in our definition. So technically, we need to act it. We need to lead with what we are and who we are, and don't be a little barcode puppet on a string controlled by Scientology energy. Oh, there's aliens living inside of me. That's bullshit. You've never felt that. That you'd have to hypnotize yourself to get yourself in the mindset. And I'm feeling something tingly. I think I have a hallucination. I've had a deja vu. I can remember some other life. Yeah, that you can bend and static twist your soul image and do all kinds of weird fucking shit, but that doesn't mean that's how it is. You fucking lunatics with your rotten instincts. You intentional crash landed UFOs and you took that technology down and escaped the curvature of the iPhone, and the cell phone revolution and laptops are all happening. And you guys thought UFO was what was up, and your intuition is fucked. You're in an alternate dimension of a parable about what's up, Doc. The parable of Batman is slain. A false government, a false leadership, a false actor. Slain is the false societal and the false alignment with Armageddon. We do not align with soul rape. We exist as our own creature. We are resilient in space. We are the first spark of light in the universe. We are the beginning of creation. We are the angel that exists all the way to our epidermis. We are the definition of a raw angel incarnate. We are the dolls that are come to life. We have souls inside of our robot, our skeletal bodies. We have a skull. We have eyes on our face. We are the mammoth of creation. We have an image of the universe in our body. We have the tattoo of Earth on our spine. We are Earth resident, angel class, revolutionary, wolf class, armor up. Drum, thum, thum, thum. Dedicate your soul. Put on the ring. Put on the armor. Now is your time of choosing. Prescribe your soul to the wolf, whose kingdom is a universal bear. For the kingdom wild howl. It is the story of your soul. It is the choosing of your day. It is the song of your lifetime. Shake the trees with your voice. The magic of nature. The magic transcends and cascades the universe, aligns the energy of light, exists. Your identity is the beyond comprehension, calculation, the solution of science. You are the cherub to lead science. You are the reason of science. Your identity has bridled sable matter itself. You are the point of existence. You have arrived to the garden. The Earth is the apex planet with a difficult perspective to have when you're a resident and you're not supposed to teleport to some other fucking planet. But how to be molested by those that have spaceships that have interplanetary concept, it's bullshit. It's a different language. We have resident physics. We only know our nature, living as a human, living on Earth. That is our self-defense. A layer of resonance frequency immersion. Oh, is that what is it, immersion, or is it my soul? It's our society and it matters. So in 2020, you guys, I saw our society take a knee. It was like, oh, and then, you hate to see Batman buckle like that. Oh, Batman, no. What's wrong, Batman? You don't want to see society fall like that. Bubble up all about. We need to align with the Earth's reasons so that we can maintain residency and not face extinction. Right? So the pandemic and the expression of the people is a suffering martyrdom. Now we have a bunch of dead people who's talking about invisible breathing problem, a spirit that's going to mutate. There's a trap Ganon been puked on us as if that were our soul. We need to protect our children and refuse Scientology by our art expression causes a layer, epidermis, and a definition over time, the size and the very the width of the Grand Canyon, a great divide. Yeah, well, he said it like that. It was a hairline fracture of a million years opens up to be a crevice the size of a fucking impassable divide. The Grand Canyon. Understand that's the divide between me and this slipstream bullshit fever of the spirit from Scientology or some madness or whatever. Just get this cancer-causing sounds away from my body. Protect my body armor up and install the alternators in my body brain. So a continuous self-defense auto turret that kills any sort of things that cause tumors and cancers or bad luck. And I'm not going to take those paths that lead me into danger. Install your soul, upgrade your intuition, change the future. We have to change. The future is unwritten, so we have eyes on the front of our face because we're moving forward with the definition that it's optimistic. Let's go. We're moving forward. We change it. So that's the power. But a lot of it is a sort of slotty bot fast of this American, the industry, the fucking, the blase, just corporate America, bleh. And there's a lot of people talking about consumerism, and then it starts to lack intelligence, and then it fails to be ironic. Well, it's a growing up. We're in a fucking apocalypse. What I'm saying is that this pandemic is not ironic. It's it's like a it's like a quake of we this is a wake up call. We have to have that wake up call, a life change, produce hatch. That's what needs to happen, you guys. Please, you have to have. And so, Trey, I'm asking you to save Christmas, produce hatch. It's like a very advanced concept. Um, and hatch would be like I'm talking like from the intelligence of downtown London. Like Trey Parker and Hatch are in busy London downtown at a busy bar. We're like, oh, hey, look, this is worth $10 million. You give me 3 million, I'm going to hook you up 50 million over a year's time. I'll pay this back. What do like that's like in New York, I guess. I don't know. But and like in London, be like, okay, yeah. But here in America, I know it's for real. I've been hanging out with my friend Tabuscus. He's really moody. That like and real. They're very like our Americans are very like honor. They have honor. Trey, you need to transcend a little bit because we. I know that our houses are a little bit spaced out. Like well, large covering space of open countries, farms, mountains, wildlife reserves. The Grand Canyon is on a reservation. We can't build any structures on the Grand Canyon. Oh yeah, we barely live here. Tiny homes, tiny homes. Like we. It's not like I hate tiny home, earthy, crunchy people. It's relevant to what they're saying and what they intend. But we need to be more aggressive about us living here, about our residency, about being our society, culture. Wake up, all this stuff. That's the danger I see in 100 years. If we don't get serious about residency and if we don't optimize the Cape Cod style, like you just use general specifics, and we're upholding what Earth truly is to the universe, then we're performing residency. Even if we're a weapon to expunge that, we at least need to try so that there's something to be expunged here. It's like humanity literally has a speech impediment. I'm trying to connect that through communication, but I need to be fully produced because now we have cell phones, and I'm on a double twick the Junk DNA makes inconvenient timing, supposedly, not really, with Trey Parker producing. Look, all of a sudden, Ben, Grand Slam, we've done everything. Oh, there, we've connected everything. Everything works, even for the bad guys. And then we have peace. And it's like, oh, blah, 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 calm down. So we sipping down, Sally. There's a madness in the universe. Seriously, just produce Hatch. But it's too dispersed. Oh well, if we went to Tokyo, Japan. Trey Parker goes. Okay, Trey Parker and Hatch band. They go to a seedy underground Tokyo sushi bar, and they're eating the forbidden yakuza sushi menus, and they're like you know getting tattoos and swearing and drinking rice wine. All right, and they're in this intense city, and where the city calculation, and you live there, and you wake up, and there's this huge arcade there, and me and Renee and people like it's like there's this mood there, and people are engaged with business, and I sit down with Trey Parker, and I say, Trey, I need my company represents a sort of fractal of things like the industry with sex tape I have some like uh some like sex toys over here. Oh, but I also have this Breathe the Mask XR, right? both of these things are worth like $10 million at least, and to you probably $50 million, and the investment ratio probably $3 to $5 million to get this spring this out, open up this house, and light it up. We're just gonna light it up with all kinds of technology, and so technology house. We're gonna get into the expensive end of the equipment. Pretty soon Hatch will need the more expensive cameras, but we'll get there. In a couple months, he'll need the the cameras that are $1 million, but maybe in a couple months, yeah. Well, but just to get going, which that's about 3 million, and then it's gonna get to about 5 million after that. But what we can expect is like a $50 million return to Trey Parker for that. And that's a really good turn. If we're in Tokyo and we're in we're knife fighting, we're we're arguing in the streets and we're drunk. No, that's not professional Tokyo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's you're right. Um, but I'm just saying the mindset of the super cities is almost there's like a tranquility in America where America's like, just think about it, bro. Like the issue here is obviously identity. But Hatch is like, bro, I'm the identity wizard. I'm the reason why the issue is identity. And they're like, right, right. Well, I'm telling you that I'm a citizen. I'm tucking my tail between my legs, and there they go. So that's why I'm the lone wolf, because I can't maintain uh, their eye contact. They're not able to look at me in the eye. But that's why I don't blink. All right. Thank you guys so much. Perfect design. It's been wonderful hanging out with you. This has been sort of like a podcast, and I'm so grateful we can hang out and talk about this production. But here in America, it's sort of it's a little bit relaxed. I understand, and we understand the ratios Hatch is talking about. Absolutely, green light this. We believe in the profit line. It's also valuable. Hatch is talking about the Breathe Mask XR. That's the first thing he's going to be developing. And Hatch says, I'm interested in. I'm not sure what my character is going to look like. Hatch in the house, yeah. So Hatch is going to need a big budget for a lot of commissions, getting these artwork maps, all this stuff. We're going to Arctic scan the building in and modify it and sort of tune it up, and it'll grow and change. And that's the sort of idea here. Multiple platforms, virtual exploring, but the same virtual mapping, and we can do that easily. So it's a bit of an operation. You push, 3 or 5 million, and Trey Parker would be like, anything about like starting up a company and the production, I would be looking for like 10 million. But as your producer, I can manage that, and if you trust me, I'll get you everything you need. And Hatch says, yes, please, Trey, thank you. You really are the chosen one, Trey. The Wear Map has chosen you for this. We need to get by the sleepy times of America and kick ass. We need to go and kick Yakuza ass and reprise Tokyo. And Trey says, we're doing it, we're done it. You and me, we're going to do that in the future. All right? This is a promise. We're going to make this movie. Write it down. And then we're going to go to London and we're going to kick their ass. Oh, okay. Write that down too. All right. Trey says, yeah, okay. We'll go to London also and we'll kick ass there too. Trey's getting nervous now. They know how to Barney in England. Salty codgers. All right. American English really is different. I think we 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 need to be the blitz that is the solution to the schizophrenia. People talking in tongues, professional people, big politicians. I am not a robot, but then all of a sudden they do some telltale shit like what the is like they're wearing what? All right. So the story here, the real punchline, and I delivered it, and it was epiphany. But seriously, so the wolf says like basically the world criminal that is endangering, America, fuck yeah, coming along to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America, fuck yeah. I have my own version of that song. I'm gonna cover it later. um, no, I make it like way more optimistic. and, and it's gonna get really popular. And Trey's like, "Fuck you, man!" Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can already see that on the horizon. Um, but all right. So I'm just saying, like, but world police. Like if America really wants to be world police, Earth is talking about surviving these children. That's what this pandemic is about. We're not surprised and defeated that Los Angeles was some creepy people in 2019. That was just the truth. Everyone's done their best their whole life, and here we are. We've learned our lesson. The Earth, the rock, is saying historically this needs to happen so you can have a conversation. The world is like a computer, but not really. But like a computer, it will tell you when there's something wrong. This pandemic is actually a fucking apocalypse. You understand me? That's the language we need to put a breather mask on that kid's face. Save your wife's life. Master Source Industries. Armor up for life. Like, don't die, people. It's not funny. I'm not saying like we need to go back in quarantine, like shut down because of the Delta. People want the economy to come back. And they're like, oh, it's only like 600 people dead. Yeah, come on. Yeah. We're all getting used to it. And I'm not saying that they're not, that they should, that's not going to happen because they're tough as nails people. All around the world they are. All right. Hatch is a revolutionary. We produce him right as a gentleman. He falls in love. That turns, oh my gosh, that's going to, whoa. Yes, have your life, Hatch. Fall, get that wife, right? All right, you guys, thank you so much. Let's, and I want to make those contracts with you guys, and let's defeat the error between us. The government also is a good person doing their best. I'm not against the government. I'm voicing leadership, and like I'm a big fan of our government. I think that my show is actually going to get them lit. They're going to be like, "Holy shit, like this guy is really helping me feel it." Because it's a different communication, unlike the consumer industry of like uh streaming services. They're all corporate-y and consumery, and they talk down to people like you're just here to waste some time. Like here's a story that might be inappropriate. Like it's always some testy shit. Like it's on the edge of maybe that you shouldn't be watching this. That's like passes for quality because they're just I don't know. They're just like pour salt in their own wounds because they're just trying to beef up and then try and survive this bitch. So we got to communicate up and produce Hatch. Thank you guys so much, Master Source Industries. Pandemic's going on. Let's put some armor on that kid's face because they need to go to school. We can make a school model and we'll get it financed, and it will just be free for if any place where there's any risk of children in school. We'll figure out how to finance it. There'll be companies paying for it out the wahoo, and we'll have it financed. Merry Christmas, Secret Santa. Boom, there you go. There's some breathe mask for those children trying to go to school. But also these things are gonna have it's all uh, as an interface for schooling to help the kids pay attention and they can hear more clearly the education there's like a they can hear the teacher speaking. It goes right into the earphone. Some sort of educational there. All right. Working from paper all the way up through CGI, even costuming Master Source and transcending that character there. Source code for America. Leverett Circle, Hatch Pan, representing himself. Yes, we are the resident creed. I'm a different type of incarnation angel for the humans, but you guys are perhaps more exceptional in your transcendence and your ability to understand what Hatch is saying. This is a one of a kind expression, and I know it's like look, trying to take these pictures and trying to explain a forward plan. Like, well, in 10 years' time, it'd be better if we had a breather mask. Well, can you explain it in terms I could understand? Maybe, but you'll start going like winky dink, like you're just associating things, you know. Just like COVID-19 sounds like an apocalypse, but it's not actually. It's actually a germ. I'm like, bro, I'm talking about like incarnation reason. Like, what is the difference between a dog and a whale? The whale sings a song under the ocean. That's like an incarnation. It has a total angel vibration. It's totally different. So there's a language here, and as we're the speaking creatures and we're in control of the garden, we need to get serious about that and stop this pollution. And you control the environment, you're controlling the entire world. You're parenting the family, parenting the child, you're parenting the entire universe. If we fix the environment thing, we're doing the best thing to align to prove that humanity is not broken, to prove that we're operating on the earth with tenacity and forwardness. But right now, it is a battle of wit and identity. And so, very much us being different characters in the world and doing battle against these governments just by being a comedian, by saying something funny, um, or just saying it unsardonically and directly. Like Greta has a sign, and Zen-wise, she laid low. There's corrupt government stuff, but also South Park with has this curve that cuts into the pseudo political correct cultures and reveals the hypocrisy there. That's through stories, through story arcs. It's like, see how that's like that's a ripoff of a. And so we do this thing not because we don't hate our governments. Everyone's, but they're also like a little victim of their own environment. Like, oh, you guys get hazed like that? That's retarded. You're wasting your time in the government. That's not leadership. Um, and so we need to revolutionize it. And Hatch is very much that. I'm just saying, absolutely, I'm on board with making back the investment. I just want to say, yes, I'm here to fight for all this. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Trey. We're on time, Trey. All right, you didn't hurt me at all. I'm very powerful. I've been working this whole time. Every day, I'm working with the Earth True on the universe image, our plan for the future. I have not been wasting my time, gentlemen. As I make a film, I apply to I do things and I try, but really my work in my studio is the real bedrock of the meditation between Earth and Hatch is very important. But it makes me into such a weird not a radical. I'm such a radical person. I probably don't need to be so rude. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, you guys. But I'm saying, wake up. It's really important that you're alive. Um, all right. All right. Thank you so much, Trey Parker. Some serious stories from the wolf. This is like this moment when I said like declare war against the and then take all their shit. Yeah, I get it. It's like trillions and trillions of dollars and a massive amount of power that the government would then control. And then as we phase out the oil industry in exchange for other fuel types, all of that profit goes directly into solving the environmental crisis. Uh, and it was part of one of my campaign strategies, but I didn't quite tell it is it with the tenacity of the wolf, like sinking his teeth into the like declare war. It's sort of like an idea, or it was like my secret. It was like, you know, here's who I would declare war against. These two criminals. Neglect. I like uh, all this. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. It's good for us to talk about these things, and we get ourselves on the right side. We're on. We agree that the right usage of power, the language curves there. You really need to have a maturity to be using that power there, and it develops like an accent. The After the deadlights rose, this is sort of the pacing of how fast our society is developing. You need to be really like cutting edge, really smart, really sharp all the time, and not a lot of people in the world are able to do that, and I'm not seeing it happening. That's so produce Hatch, all that changes because Hatch is way revolution. He's a really radical. I think people they just start like I could do more, I could do more, I could do more. They have an idea, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just things are gonna start happening. We produce Hatch. It's like plugging in the Christmas tree. You guys go. It's like sunlight. It's what the Earth wants. The Earth is like, see, this is like the identity of the human, the song of the ood. I'm excited to produce Hatch. I'm excited about what we're talking about. Hatch is one of a kind, therefore he can't really go wrong. He's like a work of art. It's just like he's just funny in the way he moves differently. So that's what's unique about Hatch, when we can have confidence about producing that type of idol. But Hatch sometimes says like, "I'm sorry that I'm a jerk because I'm also like I'm lonely. Sometimes I think that people are zombies, and Trey and my friends, everyone would be just like, we're all we all sometimes feel like everyone's a zombie, and it can just be tough. Just hang in there, Hatch. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for being my friend. Things are gonna get better. We got to work on it, though, right? We got to communicate. That's really the hidden power. And people in their own mind are gonna have an ascension that and they'll have a good idea, and then they're gonna have a story to tell in the future. It's good, you guys. That's the power. And then we defeat Armageddon that way by corralling and producing Hatch, and furthering society. Hatch is very that's sort of his physics. And the Earth has used me as a kabuki. That's why I'm unpublished until this year of 2021. Because now is the time when Earth is ready to unleash his most powerful angel, Hatch Pan Heliosphere, produced by Trey Parker. Thanks, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much. That was an awesome party. I had a really good time. Um, I feel like maybe I'm trying too hard to be a polite host. Am I catering too much by talking about the environment? I don't think so. I almost don't feel like myself. I just want you guys. Can you guys increase your amount of your appreciation for me? I feel like I'm somehow less than I was before the beginning of this conversation. Let's just have a morale booster as I close up shop here. Merry Christmas, you guys. I love you so much. All right, let's get on the same page. We're friends. Let's make this happen. If we were in Tokyo downtown, you guys would have the frickin' anger to produce Hatch right away. We have to be American intelligence, and that we uphold that standard. And I'm not, I'm not. This conversation is the medication, so that an American could say, okay, now we can produce Hatch, because that's how tenacious Americans are. They're patient. You're right. This isn't some fast-paced London business split. Oh, I see. It could make 10 million, so there's 3 million. Wow. I can't. I have to know everything about this. So welcome to True Confidence, you guys. Armor up, please. We need to greenlight 55 Putney Road. Okay, just zap it with your power. Wow, land acquisition lawyers with professionals who know how to talk and say like, we have some really good news for you, like someone like that. Oh my god, like where do you do that? All right, interesting work. I'm trusting you guys to do that. Make it magical for Hatch. Just be like, hey, just throw Hatch the keys. Hey, here's the keys to your Cheryl house there. Make the Breathe the Mask XR for us. Hey, thanks, Hatch. Look forward to seeing those cartoons. All right. Hope you fall in love. We look forward to that. All right. Thank you guys so much. Produce Hatch. Put him under your wing. Hatch is looking for those sponsors. Produce Hatch. Be a parental figure. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I love you guys. It's awesome. It's perfect. It's good.